It says, as usual, I'm alive. Now, there are those that would, have a discussion about that. But anyhow, let's start off with personal news. Well, no, we'll go to that later on. Uh, Israel's attacked some journalists the last couple of days. That's a little out of control. Don't know why, but they're more like Germany. I don't. I wasn't alive during World War II, but I've read a lot about it since it was around the time I was born, the year it ended, or the year after it was conceived at the end of the war. I'm one of the baby boomers. And I said, there's got to be a reason about this. It really does. I mean, I don't understand what their attitude is more like a totalitarian Nazi type government than a free government, and yet they were victims of Nazi fascism. I don't understand any of this. Why would you do? I don't know. It's all about power and greed. It's a little tiny country with a lot of power to develop atomic weapons, and they think they're bigger than they are. And we're responsible for that. We give them the weapons till they started building their own. You know, I have no idea what's going to happen over there, but I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be short. So, why would they do that? It's kind of like, I don't know. And then now the deal is Trump is sitting around trying to decide whether he sends troops to Iran or not. Now, my feelings about this are that it's a bad move. Vietnam was a bad move. You don't when you fight a war where the other side doesn't wear uniforms. You know, uh, they're good at it. They're good at acting, and that's very difficult because you kill innocents. And the Arab world, when you kill an innocent, you create 100 martyrs or 100 sympathizers. I guess is the difference, is the term I want to use, which is not something I think is a really, really good idea. But they're stupid. They do that. Really, really, really big mistake from my point of view. I'm not an expert on world affairs, but I just don't think sending troops is the answer. Apparently, they're talking like 2,000 troops. Well, it's different. I guess it's different from the Vietnam War. Back in the Vietnam War, for every combat soldier that was there, you needed 5 support troops. It took 5 people. Just like the Chinese discovered during the Korean War that if you wounded a soldier, you took 3 to 4 people off the battlefield. If you killed them, they left them there and came back for him. You removed just the man you killed. But if you wounded the man, you could take as much as 4 people off the battlefield. A minimum of 2, a maximum of 4, maybe sometimes a lot more than that, depending on the situation, who the man was. So I think that statistic still applies, but the thing I don't understand now is that you had to have support logistic. Well, I'll call them logistics people, but you had to have support people and logistic people and all that for every combat soldier you sent in. And Vietnam was 5. All right, so if you had 100,000 combat troops in the area, you needed 500,000 troops. because you needed the support area. I don't know how many. You say 2,000. If the statistics hold, you have 10,000 men involved in supporting these 2,000 men. And that might be true. That might be exactly right because they take a jets, taking jets have to be military. Excuse me. Jets, helicopters, all that stuff that goes with these guys to transport these guys, all that, the logistics that goes into this. Uh, and considering we don't have any really good intelligence except for the Mossad, and Mossad's getting their intelligence assets exposed, and as they become exposed, they become useless. You know, they're not going to be the same in the future. They're not going to be uh, what's the term I want? Viable in the future, you know. Um, but this is something you have to wait and see. This is what I don't understand. Trump had no plan. Netanyahu said, "Oh, we're going to go bomb Iran. You want to come?" Or Trump said to Netanyahu, "We're going to go bomb Iran. Do you want to come?" That's basically the plan, you know. And then they're talking about Israel wants to attack the gas. You know, even that's attacking gas fields. You set that country on fire, and you'll have pollution all through Asia, and you don't have any. You have to transport these companies that work for the oil companies that put out fires, and you're going to lose people with that. But the more importantly, you're going to pollute the area. You're going to cause damage to the ecosystem. But Trump doesn't think that way. You know, he looks at his wallet. Am I going to make money on this deal? Well, let's do it then. You know, who cares? Well, you're going to kill all the trees and everything. Who cares? You're going to deplete the earth. Who cares? I'm going to make money. That's all Trump and his cronies care about. And that's the stupidity of it, you know, because there's more money in saving the planet than there is in destroying the planet. And they just don't understand that, you know. I don't know why. I guess because it takes much longer and the profit is far less than when you're trying to save the planet or restore the planet than it is when you're trying to destroy the planet. You know, destroy the planet, the profit is immediate and it's great, you know. They don't understand long-term thinking. You know how they tell you, you have long-term and short-term memory, and one of them goes. Usually, you lose one, but not you usually lose. I'm not sure if it's, but you have to mention. I don't know whether it's the short-term memory or the long-term memory. So far, I still have both, so but not as great as they used to be. But I have recovery methods though, and they work. Um, but I don't understand. You know, the long and short term effects. I don't think anybody understands that, you know. When it comes to disasters or something like that, you know, they look at your actions, you know, I forget the name of the law, but the law of physics is for every action there is a exact or similar action or reaction, I should say. So they can't expect nothing to happen. All right. And usually the reactions are usually more dangerous than the action themselves. Sometimes the action is well thought out, well planned, and then you look around and then the reaction is let's go bang, you know. It's like I don't know how to explain. It's like the old west, you know. They come in, they take over a town, or they come in and they take over a bar and they insult everybody in the bar, blah blah blah, or they outnumber everybody else, and then in walk two guys, and the first thing they do is just they shoot the leader. Bang, you're dead. And they just shoot like 12 men or something like that, you know, two guys, because they didn't expect that kind of reaction. They thought everybody would go hide. I'm wondering if that's what Trump thinks that's going to happen over there when the troops land. They're all going to be treated as heroes. They did that in Afghanistan. The problem was the women and the kids that came out to greet them were carrying explosives and blew themselves, were blown up along with the soldiers. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, what they're doing over there. All right, I have something to discuss on a personal note. I've told you my wife has this thing called poems. All right. Now, apparently, the thing that goes with it that she has, which I don't know exactly what it is, just a lot of big words that I can't pronounce. It's going to require bone marrow transplant. But the way so I looked it up because as far as I know, bone marrow is more of a cancer thing, and this isn't supposed to be cancer. So then I looked it up and I said, it's a combination of like a stem cells from bone marrow, or something like that. That's what they're going to do. So they're checking. I guess they're going to do it. They're checking my sister-in-laws out, and only one of them they think will be able to do it. And let me tell you, they think they're all saying, it's no big deal. Yeah, it is for the guys that don't the donors. It is. It's not so much of a bad thing for the people that are receiving it because they're already. It's not going to hurt them any more than they already hurt. But the deal with the uh, donors is it hurts. I'm sorry, but it does. It hurts. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And I think after they go through the two sisters, I think they have to. I don't know whether they can do the sons or not. I'm not close, so I can't. I don't have to worry about. I'm not going to be a donor. I don't think they can use me anyhow. I've got too many things wrong with me. I'm not a healthy person, so I don't think it's good. That's something that I should be considered for. But I would if they thought I could. So I would let her know every single day. You're here because I donated the bone marrow. I'd let her know that for a that'd be a good that'd be a good one. Uh, well, Lucy, where you going? Bye, ciao. She knows something's wrong with her because every time we go out, we come back, she runs to look for her right away. It's very strange. I mean, she's never been that way, but she is now. It's like she sleeps by me. She crawls up and sleeps against me at night. She knows there's something wrong with me. Well, I'm old. I'm not going to be here forever. Her future is pretty well taken care of. I hope. I don't. I have to figure out how I can haunt these guys if they don't do what I ask them to do. But you can see the stress on the other members of the family that are going. We don't want to do this. Oh, I gotta go there on Saturday, and I'm like, you know, let me do some things, Ruby. Don't keep, you know, I'm not helpless, and that's the way she treats me sometimes. And what are you gonna do? She is what she is. She's gonna do what she's gonna do, and I have to pretty much hang in there and you know hope she comes out of it all right. Um, I go to the doctor next month for first time in a while, so I'll see what she says about me. Uh, I got to clean this piece of wood up here for a minute because I got to redraw the design on it. I drew it wrong. So anyhow, it's a weekend. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Um, Nothing spectacular is going to happen. Ruby's son John, who's in the entertainment business and has uh, because his partner that he works with, the young lady he sings with, that's in the band that he manages. He manages, plays instruments, and now is singing in the group. The young lady is a cancer survivor, and she had the same surgery, not for the same reasons, but the same surgery. But you read when you read this about, you go to the Mayo Clinic or you go to any of these articles on treatment for Poems disease, and you find out how rare it is. They don't really know anything about it. Uh, it's there are diseases out there that they've come up with these names for, like I had retroperitoneal fibrosis, and they just call it fibrosis now, and they don't have any names for it. Uh, they say they say it's not active, and I say it is. You can't do you can't do a surgery on my aneurysm because of it. So not at my age, and I don't think I have the stamina to go through that. The worst part of anything that when you reach 80 years old, the worst part of any treatment for anything that you go through is the recovery period, because that's when you're in the hospital or something. That's what I worry about with my wife, and everybody's worried about me. Well, what are you going to do? I say, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to get some food stocked up, and I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to take care of Lucy, and I'm going to do my thing. And when somebody wants to take me over to see her, I'll go over and see her or sit with her. Um, it's strange. Lucy's kind of funny. My one sister-in-law, Nat, Nelia, doesn't like animals per se. She didn't get along well with my first dog, but with Lucy, she says hello to Lucy every time Lucy comes into the house, and Lucy likes her. It's kind of funny. Lucy's hard to dislike. I don't know people that dislike her. I know people that are a little afraid of her. Which if you're afraid of dogs, you're afraid of dogs. Lucy is not really aggressive. Although when she gets aggressive, it's because she doesn't like somebody. But I'll tell you what's really strange: the security guard at the gate. Lucy wants absolutely nothing to do with that woman. She ain't talking to that lady. Well, anyhow, that's thanks, Jim. 80 years of surviving and thriving. I don't know about the thriving part, but I have survived. You know. So anyhow, that's it for today. Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't know whether I'll do a posted video or not. I got nothing really to. I have to go see if there's something else I could talk about when I go back onto the internet. That'll be more interesting because it's hard to drag this out. And I don't want to talk about me and my wife and all that stuff. For the whole thing. So we'll wait and see. I try to keep them around 15 minutes. I'm headed to almost 20 minutes with this one right now because I'm a long-winded uh, bullshit artist. You know that. Except for certain things I don't bullshit about. Yeah. Uh, Everybody take care out there. Hope all well with you, and I will see you on Monday because I'm going to relax tomorrow. I have her son coming who's going to try to explain everything to me that I just read about. So thank you, Jim. You're one of the few that think I am, but thank you. So anyhow, everybody take care and have a good weekend, and I will see you on Monday.